Pixel Gun 3D has always been far from a polished game, each update seemingly introducing more problems than it fixes, from the smaller memorable out-of-bounds glitches to game-breaking ones that literally banned you for just playing the game. Today we'll explore 18 glitches I gathered from across the 13 years Pixel Gun has been out. While researching, I went through hundreds of videos of glitches, however not all of them were worthy of their own spot, so I made an iceberg and narrowed it down. As you'll see, the further down the iceberg we go, the more bizarre and obscure the glitches will get. Starting with the most known entry here, the out-of-bounds glitches. There's quite a few variations of this glitch. The overall concept of getting outside of the playing area remains the same. The most popular instances of these glitches would be on maps like Ant's Life, Nuclear City, and Heaven Garden. It's safe to say a majority of these are anticlimactic, for a lack of better words. However, unlike all of the other cases of this exploit, one of these would actually spark up a decent amount of fan-made conspiracies. Slender Forest out-of-bounds glitch. Like most people, this map definitely spooked me as a kid, but watching videos on this glitch only contributed to that unsettling feeling I had, with the objective of this glitch being to reach this secret helicopter crash site, similar to the one you see in the prison level. Actually reaching this area required you to first use the anti-gravity blaster in order to boost yourself onto the surrounding rocks, then using boots with the double jump attribute to clip through the small section of the rock. After this, the path you have to take to the crash site, aside from the path being insanely specific, it takes multiple minutes to finally reach the helicopter, and honestly just makes me wonder how this was even discovered to begin with. It's pretty clear why this glitch would be the root of various fan-made theories, since from the perspective of the player, you had this extremely precise path outside of the map, literally leading you to a helicopter crash site. Now obviously that doesn't mean this was intentionally placed here as some hidden secret. It's very much possible that this was simply just a leftover or reused section of the prison level. Area 52 Labs glitch. This one was definitely weird, but for a different reason. This out-of-bounds exploit required you to repeatedly walk against this forklift, which for some reason would trigger some sort of portal, teleporting you into a random spot outside of the map. Aside from the obvious seemingly never-ending road, unlike the Slender Forest glitch, you could do this in a multiplayer lobby, which was obviously pretty broken if you had a weapon with the wall break attribute. The final entry for layer 1 is the gun to knife party glitch. This glitch would appear around 2015 when players discovered it was possible to use their entire loadout in this explicitly melee only map. While there were a few different known methods, the most popular method involved creating a room on knife party, then setting your device into airplane mode, and waiting until you saw the reconnecting message, only then turning off airplane mode and waiting for the game to automatically reconnect you to a different lobby. For some odd reason, this would allow you to use your entire loadout within the knife party map. Moving down to the second layer, this is where the glitches start to get a lot more useful. Member glitch. This glitch is one of the scariest. It consisted of players not being able to click the join button, preventing them from becoming a channel member for less than a McChicken monthly, and supporting the only person still making high quality videos documenting Pixel Gun 3D and its extensive history. Fast reload glitch. There seems to be a few different variations of this exploit that popped up throughout Pixel Gun's history, which will be a reoccurring thing as you'll see. If you remember, the Big Buddy was notorious for its painfully slow reload, which was pretty much the only thing keeping this gun balanced. With this glitch, you could almost remove that nerf entirely. One version of this exploit involves starting the reload with the Pixel Gun, then at the very last second before the animation completes, switching over to the Big Buddy, which for some unknown reason would transfer over the nearly completed reload. It's worth mentioning another variation of this exploit would appear in update 10.4.0, which would allow you to bypass the firing cooldown animation entirely, rather than just the reload animation, with yet another reload glitch surfacing in December of 2017, which actually worked on any weapon and made reloads instantaneous. Unlimited Eggs glitch. This is probably one of the most 2016 glitches. As you know, eggs were added alongside the pet system in update 11.1.0, and it didn't take very long before players discovered ways to break the egg delivery system. The earliest tutorial I could find of this glitch involved opening the egg delivery screen, then immediately using your phone's multitasking button to swipe away and close Pixel Gun. Obviously, the entire purpose of this glitch was basically to repeatedly trigger the egg deliveries rather than having to wait the full 24 hours. And I came across a different tutorial for update 12.0.1, based off just how many people hated the pet update. I guess this in a way was the community attempting to get revenge on the Pixel Gun company. Free trophies. This glitch gets a little confusing, because it looks like people used the term free trophies to describe a couple of different exploits. But there is one surviving video from version 11.3.0, which was actually a free trophies glitch. There is another variation of this glitch which allowed you to leave a game, completely avoiding the trophy loss penalty. Regardless, both of these were extremely abusable and basically rendered the entire competitive system useless. While we're on the topic of currency glitches, the free currency glitch would be the most broken on this iceberg if it weren't for the pretty massive catch. Pixelgun's free currency system originally appeared in update 9.3.0. For a brief period, there was a glitch where instead of pressing get coins or get gems one time, you could simply spam it, resulting in the game infinitely adding coins and gems to your balance. The obvious caveat being that it was unfortunately only a visual glitch, meaning once you closed the game and reopened it, your currency would then return to normal. Moving down another layer, we're now at the third layer. Chest reroll glitch. This glitch would allow players to, as the name states, open a chest and then spin it again if they didn't like whatever they got, which obviously defeats the entire point of the lottery system. From what I found, like a lot of the other glitches, this one seems to resurface pretty regularly, but the most known method required you to enable airplane mode just before opening the winner chest, and if you got something you didn't want, you could simply open your account on a different device, then return to your original device and open a cheaper chest, essentially dodging the cost of the winner chest. Obviously this process would change as different versions of the glitch went on to be patched, but it always seems to resurface in the game every couple of months. I did want to mention I found a link to a tutorial, which as you can see the Pixelgun company was not happy about. Unlimited invisibility. It's common sense that the invisibility effect is meant to be temporary. However, there would be multiple different methods throughout the years that would render that limitation basically meaningless. This unlimited invisibility tutorial from my evil friend Newbite shows a glitch with the energy, grip, and lenses modules on a sniper, paired with the double cashbacks melee, which somehow allowed the invisibility effect to remain active even after switching away from your sniper and moving around. With a separate video uploaded a few months later in December of 2020, titled New Infinite Invisibility Glitch. I don't think I need to explain why this glitch was especially annoying, since now instead of the company dealing with the consequences, it was the players, putting them at a huge disadvantage. Infinite Armor Glitch. This video from roughly 10 years ago, simply titled Pixelgun 3D Infinite Armor Glitch, demonstrates the process of the glitch. While there isn't too much clarity from the creator regarding anything that may be required for the glitch, it seems that all he used was the Hitman up 2 cape, and once you took damage, you then switched to the armory and quickly unequip and re-equip the Hitman cape. It's not really clear how long you had to do this, or how many times. Once the creator exits the armory, surprisingly the shields did actually regenerate. I came across this other video titled 100 Armor in 1 Second, posted 4 years after in 2020, with the same concept of taking damage, then quickly equipping and unequipping armor. Unlike some of the other cases, like the free trophies glitch, it was a bit harder for me to determine if this was as broken as it sounded, because while armor is obviously supposed to be a limited health pool, replenishing it faster than the game intended is an undeniable advantage, but the process required to regenerate seems a bit impractical, especially considering just how fast-paced fights are. I just don't think it's too practical to consider it game-breaking. Parkour Challenge Glitch. On the other hand, this one was documented much better. As you know, Parkour Challenge normally requires you to run through the entire floating island's obstacle course in order for it to count as completed and for you to receive your reward. Players realized that one of the bounce pads could launch you significantly higher than it should. If you did manage to hit it at the correct height and angle, instead of following the intended path, you could essentially launch yourself onto a much later platform, skipping a huge chunk of the Parkour Challenge. Throughout the time this glitch was unpatched, players were able to get pretty consistent with it, which would result in completing the entire course in just around 40 seconds. Aside from the obvious advantage when it came to getting a better score on the leaderboard, this meant you could repeatedly farm coins, XP, and most importantly, lottery keys with almost no effort. Funnily enough, this glitch went on to be abused so much that the developers decided to temporarily remove XP rewards altogether from the Parkour Challenge. Eventually, this glitch did go on to be patched, and XP rewards would be reintroduced. Ending off this layer with the least useful glitch, Flying cars and freeplay. Freeplay was introduced in Update 20.0 as a massive open world mode for players to explore and drive around in vehicles, very similar to the gameplay seen in Block City Wars. The introduction of this new mode naturally meant Pixel Gun's physics had significantly more room for error than ever. It's hard to tell why exactly this glitch happened, or if there were any specific requirements for it to happen. From the footage I found, it seems to most commonly happen when two players drive their vehicles at max speed directly into each other head on. While I will admit it does look kind of funny, unlike the parkour glitch, there really isn't any advantage for the player here. Considering everything else the community's managed to exploit over the years, accidentally causing your car to go flying is probably one of the more tame exploits. As we near the final layer, like I mentioned at the beginning, these are gonna be some of the weirdest glitches, which a lot of people probably won't even be aware of, starting with arguably the most broken of these 5. Deadly Games Fire Mushroom Glitch. For the new gens, Deadly Games was a game mode based on the Hunger Games, where everyone spawns in the center of the map, extremely close to each other, starting with only a knife. Once the countdown reaches 0, you're then free to move around, with the main goal being to reach the surrounding chests before anyone else. Deadly Games obviously didn't allow gadgets to begin with. Managing to get any gadget into the mode would already put you at a huge advantage. The way this glitch actually worked was surprisingly simple. You'd first activate the Fire Mushroom gadget in a normal deathmatch, immediately leave, and then join Deadly Games. For whatever reason, this effect would carry over with you, which meant you would start dealing damage to all of the players around you, way before the match even properly started. It's pretty obvious why this was so broken. The Frostbeam Spell One-Shot. While it's not too common to see people use this weapon now, back in 2017 it was known for having one of the fastest firing rates in the game, which in itself sparked a lot of discussion regarding it being overpowered. What a lot of players already thought was broken would prove to become a lot more game-breaking than they thought was possible, since an update released in May of 2017 would for some odd reason make the Frostbeam spell one-tap anyone, no matter where you shot them or what armor they had. While this glitch was fixed pretty soon after the community went crazy over it, until that patch dropped, the lobbies were extremely chaotic. Now, with the game-breaking glitches out of the way, we can get into one of my favorite glitches of all time: weapons in Sandbox. Aside from the obvious aspect of being able to use weapons in a game mode that explicitly doesn't allow PvP, what makes this even more interesting is that every time this glitch resurfaced, it never really stayed the same, since some versions would not only allow you to bring weapons into Sandbox, but sometimes allowing you to kill and deal damage to other players. It's pretty funny to see that all of these years later, the developers still can't seem to get rid of this glitch. Gallery Hidden Weapon Glitch. This glitch appears to be a mistake on the developer's end, which would make weapons you weren't supposed to be able to buy within the gallery obtainable. Normally, even if an old or limited time weapon still existed in the gallery, and there really wasn't anything you could do. In Update 16.6.0, you could actually access some of these hidden weapons through the gallery's weapon sets, and for whatever reason the game would actually let you buy them. One of the most known examples of this was with the Ice Pause weapon, which was originally a limited time weapon, but became obtainable for a couple of days because of this glitch. Unfortunately, it didn't last very long, since it was patched almost immediately in the following 16.6.1 update. Before we get into this final layer, I'm gonna be honest, there wasn't a single glitch here that I was aware of prior to researching for this video. I also want to preface that a handful of the glitches here don't exactly have much surviving footage, if any, which sort of puts some of them in that lost media territory. Just a Hand Kills People. One 14-second video from 2020 I came across on YouTube showcases this glitch. It starts off scrolling through the gallery, where you can see that slot number 121 is viewable. The person then clicks view, and it shows a bugged out item screen, and only the weapon description visible, reading Let's Play Rock Pixel Paper. It gets even weirder once the video cuts back to the player in the shooting range, where you can see in their item bar that the hand is equipped as a melee weapon. It even goes as far as dealing damage to the bots. The video ends by showing the person's armory, where it no longer shows the just a hand weapon as their equipped melee. As I tried to find more clips of this glitch, I came across an earlier Reddit post from 2020. According to the person who posted it, joining a friend who was already playing the battle version of Quiet Island could sometimes cause the game to bring Sandbox exclusive weapons into the match, including just a hand. Buying removed Avalanche via Killcam. For those who don't know, the Avalanche was a heavy weapon added in 9.0.4. While the physical appearance of this weapon really isn't anything crazy, the history of its changes is definitely interesting. After it was removed and became unobtainable from the armory starting in update 11.0, its world model was changed first to the plasma releaser, then later the icicle minigun. I should mention, for those who don't know what it means by world model, it's basically how the weapon looks from the perspective of other players, since it's separate from the model you do see in your first person perspective. The water pistol would be the root of this glitch, since for a short time in version 13.1.0, if you were killed by a player using the water pistol, once you entered the kill cam screen, the weapon your enemy was using would show up as the Avalanche. This allowed you to then buy the Avalanche for 140 coins. Where this glitch gets a bit spotty is the surviving footage. I couldn't find any footage of someone actually purchasing the Avalanche through the kill cam. And because of that, it's hard to verify exactly what the purchase screen may have looked like, or if there were any other issues that occurred after purchasing. Wave 397 ban. This references a claim from a player known as Cursed P. According to the claim, after completing Wave 397 in Arena, the game awarded this player with 397 coins in total. However, this player's account was then instantly banned, with the reason being hacked currency. From what I could gather, Cursed P did eventually get their account unbanned, but it's still funny that this player was punished for simply playing the game as intended. Frag Grenade Kill Cam Trap. This one is from all the way back in version 9.3, and surprisingly there is actually footage of someone experiencing it firsthand. Thankfully the glitch would be patched shortly after in 9.4. What made this glitch so annoying wasn't just the fact that anyone who fell victim to it was stuck in the kill cam with no respawn button or really any way to return to the match, but it meant they had no other choice but to close and reopen the game, making them miss out on whatever XP they would have earned. To make matters worse, this game-breaking glitch was insanely easy to do. All it required was for you to fire either the Dark Mage Wand or Wizard Wand at someone, then immediately tap the Frag Grenade button. After going through all 5 layers, I think the weirdest part isn't even the glitches themselves. More so just how easily a majority of them could have been completely lost to time. In the event a glitch would appear for only a couple days, if nobody happened to record it, there was basically no proof it ever happened. This is exactly why I think entries like the Avalanche Killcam glitch are so interesting. It's pretty clear that this iceberg is far from covering everything. There are probably hundreds of glitches that only a handful of players ever saw, with the only proof of them existing buried in old videos, or sitting on a device that hasn't been turned on in well over a decade. So if you remember any strange glitches you encountered that I didn't mention in this video, especially if you do still have footage or screenshots of it, leave it in the comments, because your random childhood memory or recording could very much be the only proof left. If you made it to this point, I wanted to say thank you for watching. While this video was a lot of fun to make, it was also a lot of research. If you want to help support me and the content I make, liking the video, commenting, and hyping does just that. As always, I want to give a huge thank you to my amazing, beautiful channel members. Thank you to Aishi K's Music. Dude, you're gonna have to tell me how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. Baxter1408, 6.9, Nexizel, PSA, Aussie PG3D, Psyched Guy, Not the Goat Drain, and Venti Iced Tea. Thank you for supporting me and my content. It truly means the world to me. Goodbye.